Now at 6 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, reported misuse of funds leads to an investigation in Refugio. Massive wildfires rage across the Great Plains for a third straight day. And the Victoria Courthouse transforms into a living history lesson for local students.
We've got some big changes over the weekend. That frontal system out in West Texas will be blowing through the crossroads tomorrow about noontime, bringing dry, strong winds through our area and cooler weather. We'll talk about that coming up in a moment.
And the Calhoun Sandy's girls basketball team looks to keep their postseason run alive versus Tolosa Midway later tonight. We'll preview this contest later on.
You're watching 25 News now at 6. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Don Brubaker. Shauna Curry has the night off. A Victoria man is behind bars after a joint investigation into child exploitation. The Victoria County Sheriff's Office says it was contacted by the FBI earlier this month about explicit images of a child being shared online. Investigators say they traced those images back to Victoria resident William Cover. After working together on the case, authorities arrested the 50-year-old. He's now charged with sexual performance by a child and indecency with a child. The Texas Rangers launched an investigation in Refugio over possible misuse of economic development funds. 24th Judicial District Attorney Brian Cromines confirms the Texas Rangers are looking into reports money was withdrawn from the EDC account and reportedly used by the city without proper approval. This comes after Mayor Wanda Dukes was removed from the EDC board in late January over an alleged conflict of interest. Here's a look at how many people voted early today in Victoria County. 549 people voted in person and 125 mail-in ballots were received. So far for the March 3rd primaries, 1,836 people cast their ballots. That's just 3.2% of Victoria County voters. And if you have not voted yet, there's still time. Early voting for the March 3rd primaries runs through Friday, February 27th, with the election day on Tuesday, March 3rd. Polls are open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. tomorrow, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Sunday, and 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday next week. Early voting takes place at the Dr. Patty Dodson Public Health Center located at 2805 North Navarro. High winds fanned the flames of fires burning in the plains this week. Reed Binion reports at one point more than 750,000 people in the region saw the highest level of extremely critical fire weather conditions.
The Great Plains got hit with dangerous fire weather conditions for a third consecutive day Thursday. Firefighters battling more than a dozen wildfires that have burned tens of thousands of acres and forced evacuations in the region. The largest of them is the Ranger Road megafire. It started Tuesday in Oklahoma, then spread into southern Kansas. Since then, it's burned an area nearly twice the size of Chicago. Another wildfire broke out in Woodward, Oklahoma, and destroyed structures. One home nearly consumed by the blaze saved after firefighters managed to stop the flames just inches from the structure. Since Tuesday, other blazes have broken out across the region as well, including two in the Texas Panhandle, the Lavender and 8 Ball fires. Weather conditions complicating the job of containing the flames.
The wind in our minds for any firefighter is the devil, and right now, again, the winds are high. We're expected to have high winds in the next couple days.
The Texas A&M Forest Service said that as of Thursday evening, the Lavender Fire had burned more than 18,300 acres. I'm Reed Binion reporting.
Firefighters are getting the upper hand on the 8 Ball fire burning in the Texas Panhandle. The blaze is now more than half contained. Firefighters are now focusing on a ground assault since air tankers are no longer being used, partly due to high wind. The tankers also were pulled to help fight other fires burning in the Panhandle, but officials say Incident Command will evaluate the situation and determine if they need to be brought back. Fires and dry weather go together, and guess what we're having right now? Dry weather. Mac Pettis, first look at the forecast, and is that going to continue through this weekend?
Yeah, well, that's the big issue, and actually there's a few more factors. Dry weather, strong winds, we've had a drought, and in the winter everything goes dormant, so everything's tinder dry. So the last couple of days or earlier this week, they had 40-mile-an-hour winds up there in the Panhandle and on up into the Denver area. Now, this frontal system will be coming through the crossroads about noon tomorrow. you will feel it. You will know it. It's going to come knocking on your door because the wind is going to shift, and it'll be at about 25 to 30 miles an hour in the afternoon and evening. That's going to give us the very dry air. I mean, I'm talking desert dry, and then cooler weather. In fact, the nighttime temperatures will be getting back down to the 40s. Daytimes will be, you know, at least cool. At least they won't be in the 80s. We'll talk more about that coming up in a moment. Don, back to you.
Mike, thank you. History comes alive at the Victoria County Courthouse. 25 News Now reporter Ray Mosley was at the courthouse to witness it and explain the importance of this lesson.
So you were in Boston at that time?
8th grade students from Our Lady of Victory stepped back in time to the Boston Tea Party and the Boston Massacre. Even though these events happened more than 250 years ago, they played a major role in shaping the country we live in today. Student Lily Cano played a witness in the Boston Tea Party trial, where the Sons of Liberty tossed the equivalent of over $1 million of tea into the Boston Harbor on December 16, 1773.
Makes me feel excited. I was nervous at first, but it's an important part in history because so we don't repeat it.
Lily's mom says the students spent 2 months getting ready for this mock trial and writing their own witness statements.
They did a lot of research. They worked very hard. Everyone learned their parts, and it's a wonderful moment for them, a learning educational moment for them, because they got to talk about a historical event in the historical courthouse.
The lesson gave the students a unique way to learn history and how the judicial system works at the same time.
And while they may be in 8th grade, today they proved history is not just something you read about, it's something you can experience. If you see news happening, call our newsroom at 361-576-0026 or send us an email at staff@crossroadstoday.com. Texas Congressman Tony Gonzalez is denying allegations he had an affair with a staffer who died by suicide last year. The Republican claims he did not have an affair with former aide Regina Santos Aviles and says he's being blackmailed. The allegations were made by an attorney representing the staffer's husband, Adrian Aviles. He says Aviles was shown sexual graphic text messages by his wife when she told him about the affair with Gonzalez. Aviles said the affair began in June 2024. Santos Aviles died by suicide after setting herself on fire in September of last year. Gonzalez represents District 23, which covers West Texas to just outside San Antonio. It was not a mistake to close the airspace around El Paso last week. That's what Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy said at a news conference this afternoon. He declined to share details about what happened and the subsequent finger pointing, saying he would speak to Congress before addressing it publicly. Last Wednesday, the FAA abruptly grounded all flights up to 18,000 feet around El Paso for 10 days, effectively shutting down El Paso International Airport. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. Then you can see Crossroads Today on YouTube. And stay with us. Coming up on 25 News Now at 6, a church that served as more than just a house of worship for generations now faces an uncertain future. Plus, crews hit the water today to tackle a hidden threat lurking in our coastal bays.
Here's a look at what you can expect on Community Crossroads. We hear from the Victoria Symphony, we hear from Ashley Furniture, and the City of Victoria.
For the City of Victoria, this marks a new era in our ability to provide public safety services, a new era for our employees and for our community as a whole. As part of the ribbon cutting ceremony, there'll be an opportunity for the public to go on a self-guided tour.
What might look like an abandoned building to some in Victoria is ripe with history for others. As 25 News Now weekend anchor Maya Norman shows us, the historic church is being remembered for its lasting legacy, despite no longer holding services.
Salter Chapel African Methodist Episcopal Church on Cameron Street stands as a symbol of faith and history in Victoria's Black community.
And it was a family church. It was a family church. It was made up of a lot of families there at the church.
The church is part of the African Methodist Episcopal Church, one of the oldest independent Black Christian denominations in the United States.
And they started a church in a blacksmith shop Richard Allen was the first. He was the founder and the bishop of the AME Church.
Allen founded the AME Church in Philadelphia in 1816, along with free Black Americans seeking the right to worship independently. After the Civil War, the church expanded into Texas as missionaries arrived in 1866. Salter Chapel was established during Reconstruction, serving African Americans in Victoria.
In Victoria, we had special program, Black History program, homecoming, stewardess and trustees program, different program. And during that time, I had a lot of support. We had a lot of support from the community.
Historically, AME churches like Salter Chapel not only served as houses for worship, they were a center for education, culture, and life within Black communities.
Because it used to fill up the whole parking lot out here, and the people would come dressed up to the T, you know, and it just saddens me that all this is stopped.
But there hasn't been a worship service inside the building since 2022.
And that it's a forgotten jewel that's here in Victoria that needs to be recognized. The worst thing in the world is to have a forgotten church. And I think it's rich in history, culture, and just love.
Community members say service stopped due to declining membership and financial challenges, but say the church's legacy lives on. A local family cares for the property, maintaining the grounds and preserving the history of Salter Chapel. Amaya Norman, KAVU TV 25 News Now.
To get more news, weather, and sports, come to our website, crossroadstoday.com. It is a decision shaking up the global economy and a blow to President Trump's economic agenda and foreign policy. The Supreme Court ruled that Trump's sweeping global tariffs are illegal. Karen Kafer is in Washington with the latest and what it means for consumers.
In the most significant case involving the U.S. economy to reach the justices in decades, the Supreme Court ruled that President Donald Trump violated federal law when he unilaterally imposed sweeping tariffs around the globe. The 6-3 majority opinion written by Chief Justice John Roberts emphasized that the power to enact such tariffs must be clearly granted by Congress, and the emergency authority Trump attempted to rely on falls short. The decision delivering a blow to Trump's second-term economic agenda and foreign policy.
This was an important case to me, more as a symbol of economic national security.
Experts noting the court only struck down one avenue for Trump's tariff plans.
We shouldn't think that the topic of tariffs is now going away somehow, even beyond potential lawsuits, because the president has any number of other ways that he can continue to try and push for tariffs and impact, levies. So we'll be watching for that.
For consumers, immediate relief from the decision is unlikely, economists say, because the court did not give any guidance on what should happen to the tariff revenue already collected.
Even if refunds are ultimately issued, they're not going to be issued to consumers. They're going to be issued to firms. And then you're depending on firms ultimately passing those back to the consumer.
As of December 14th, federal data showed the government had collected $134 billion in revenue from the tariffs that were struck down. In Washington, I'm Karen Kafa.
Crews started heading out on the water today for the Texas Abandoned Crab Trap Removal Program. It's a statewide effort to clean up our coastal bays. For 10 days, crews will be in the bay to remove the traps they say can hurt wildlife and create navigation hazards. During a short closure period, volunteers and partner agencies sweep the bays, haul in those traps, and dispose of them properly, protecting crab populations and marsh habitats in the process.
In addition to being litter, the traps also continue to, the term we use is ghost fish. They continue to catch crabs and fish even though they're not being baited. Something goes in, can't get out, it dies, it becomes the bait. So it's a continuing process. So that's another reason that we work, or probably the most important reason that we work to get them out of the bay.
Last year alone, San Antonio Bay Partnership volunteers pulled more than 1,000 traps from the San Antonio Bay system.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. We're looking at 75 degrees right now. You know, we've been hovering near 80 degrees for a while. All that's going to be changing over the weekend. Our high today got up to 82. 67 was the overnight low. We got a strong north wind coming in on Saturday with dry air, no rain, and gusty winds. We'll talk about it after this.
For a growing number of people in our community, nighttime doesn't mean sleep. It means survival. 25 News Now reporter Trenton Whiting takes a closer look at homelessness here at home, the challenges people face every day, and what's being done to help.
Being able to go take a shower and rest and good to go to work the next day and be comfortable without having to go to work dirty, that'd be awesome.
Life without a home. Thursday at 10 p.m.
Welcome back, everybody. Well, we've got these big changes coming in for the weekend, and the concern I have is that the high winds on Saturday night, well, that's a north wind. It's probably 20, 30 miles an hour. We're probably looking at just dry humidity. And then, of course, everything's still brown, and we hadn't rained in 30 days. So, you know, we're going to have a fire danger that we're going to have to be dealing with over the weekend. Here's where we are tonight. All the humid air stuck along the immediate coastline. A little bit drier air up in North Texas. But there's our front already just about to roll through El Paso. It'll be here around noontime, and you'll definitely know it because the winds will turn around. They'll be northwest, and they'll be fairly strong, and it'll get your attention when that blows through. As a result, many of the counties to the west of us, or say all of them, are under a fire weather warning, okay? So you and me and everybody just needs to be very careful with anything that looks like an open flame. And even really in some of the areas where we have tall grasses that are dry, even the exhaust off a pickup truck may cause a spark or problems. A chain jumping off the roadways, all those things. If fire takes off with that kind of wind, we're going to have trouble holding on to it. So they're having that problem up in the Panhandle tonight, where they had 30-mile-an-hour winds yesterday, 30 and 40. And of course, that is going to be dropping down through our area. We also have small craft advisories for the outer waters. You boaters may say, well, it's nice and sunny, but it's going to be very windy, so you got to be very cautious. The fog tonight probably will stay along the immediate coastline, so I don't expect it up in Cuero or Nordheim or anything like that. But if you're down in Port Lavaca, it may be very, very soupy down in Seadrift and Matagorda. It may be almost sea fog, so just keep that in mind if you're going to be out early in the morning. Temperature is going to be taking a dive. We're looking at 80 tomorrow when the front comes through, and then on Sunday it's going to be 68, and that's the high temperature, and 69 on Monday, 73 on Tuesday. The thing is, right about here at night, we're getting down to the low 40s and even upper 30s. So it's yes, you might need a sweater or jacket over the next few days. Here's our big map. Here's winter storm number 1. Winter storm number 2 just coming out of the Rockies, just sort of glances over Texas. Winter storm number 3 is out here. Some hope that may affect us, but that would not be for about 7 days. So it's a long way off. And honestly, it doesn't look really good for us getting any kind of precipitation in 7 to 9 days. And we'll hope for our best, but you can see how the ridge sort of picks up. And then we get that northwest flow. That's why it's going to be so dry and over the region over the next few days. So taking a look at your day planner for tomorrow in Port Lavaca, we start off with the fog and low clouds and a drizzle possibly, and then partly cloudy and quite windy for the afternoon. In Cuero, you're going to have that strong wind, 20, 30 miles an hour in the afternoon. And as you can see right about here, on Sunday, we're going to be clear, cool, and a high of only 68. But remember, it's that wind that may be a problem. That's your 7-day forecast, reminding everybody we do have a QR code. Love for you to scan that. Put Crossroads Today on your phone. Don, over to you.
All right, thank you, Mac. Sports Director Max Williams is here. We're talking All-State football.
That's right, Don. I know you sent over this list to me. We had a lot of names that we're going to talk about here in the 2A and 3A ranks from the Texas Sports Writers Association. We'll just announce all the first team honors. That'll be next in sports. Just about an hour ago, Texas and Victoria Athletics announced they will have a new interim director in charge in Lindsay Ortiz. And AM Victoria President Christian Hardigree said in a statement out that Lindsay has not only proven herself as an elite coach, but a steadfast leader who understands the mission of A&M Victoria. We have full confidence in her ability to maintain our momentum to lead the Jaguars there in their program. Again, for Ortiz, she's the head softball coach currently. She's in their 13th season at the head softball program. She's going to be taking in charge of the previous athletic director, and Ashley Wallachow. Now, with Tidehaven's postseason journey ending last night at the Goliad Event Center versus San Antonio Colt, the Calhoun Sandies look to make their postseason run, staying alive as they face Tulsa Midway tonight at Goliad High School as well. In the past a couple of nights ago, the Sandies knocked off the district champions in the El Campo Lady Birds, had a stellar defensive performance in that 36-24 victory, holding one of their star players to the lowest scoring total she's ever had from the entire season. So if the Sandies do win, they will face the Lago Vista Vikings in the next round. We head over to Victoria West and East girls basketball tonight. They both are facing Austin area teams in the second round of the postseason, both at Gonzales High School. West is currently playing right now versus Anderson Trojans, and again right afterwards, East will be playing at 8 p.m. West hopes that seniors Necia Scott and Haley Brew will make impacts in this game tonight, while East hopes their dynamic duo on Avery Valentine and Kamori Clark will lead the way. They both had 20 points in that victory there a couple nights ago. So if West wins, they will face either A&M Consolidated or LaPorte Bulldogs in the regional semifinals, while East, if they win, they either face the College Station Cougars or the West Creek Bruins in the next round. Now, this entire week, we've heard from Victoria West Swimming head of their 5A state meet. Well, our athlete of the week, Gloria Palmer, Claudia Rodriguez, Rayleigh Anders, Haley Ure, again, they all took the pool there at state, and here was all the results. For Palmer, she didn't break under a minute like she promised there from our athlete of the week yesterday, but still had a minute 3.61, so still finished off there pretty close and still finished up in 24th place overall out of 25 competitors there in state. Then in the backstroke, she had a time of a minute 7.22 overall in the 100-yard backstroke, and then in the 400-yard freestyle relay, the four girls actually broke their previous time from regionals with a time of 3:50.34. Their previous time was 3:56.34, so literally a minute off that time there to get that there. So congratulations still to breaking that. They did not advance though to the finals tomorrow, so props for a great season for Victoria West girls swimming. We head over to Texas Sports Writers Association. They revealed their full 2A and 3A All-State Football Awards. We're going to look at the 2A ranks with some top honors going to Refugio offensive lineman Thor Bask, NATO wide receiver Austin Pena. Then for first team defense, Shiner linebacker Brody Pop was named, and running back Xander Wills and linebacker was also named on the list. Then in 3A All-State first team offense, tackle Cornell Norman, Yoakum offensive lineman Oliver Ortiz, and then wide receiver and defense end Xavier Barnett was also named as well. Then kick returner of the year Edna's Keegan Hicks was named as kick returner of the year, and Barnett was also named defensive player of the year with Bo Robinson named coach of the year. So a lot of Yoakum Edna names there on that list for 3A. So if you want to see the full list, head to crossesday.com/sports, and later on for 25 News on Sports at 10, we'll look at the 4A All-State Football Honors. And finally, wanted to highlight the current medal count for Team USA in the Olympics right now. We only have 2 days left in the Winter Olympics there in Milan, and USA is currently in second place with 29 total medals. And yesterday, U.S. women's hockey took the gold, beating Canada in overtime. Also, figure skater Alicia Liu took gold as well for Team USA. Now, the men's hockey team did beat Slovakia today 6-2, and officially they're going to be in the championship versus Canada there on 7:10 a.m. local time. So I'd get that coffee, be ready to go there on Sunday morning if you want to watch the team. And then also shout out to men's skiing out there in the half pipe, going out to Alex Fier took the gold with a score of 93.75. So Don, 2 days left. They're right behind Norway right now. So see Team USA maybe get some late medals here the last 2 days to take home the total prize there with the whole medal count.
And that's on our sister station, KMOL, NBC Victoria. And we are back in a moment. Find out what First Lady Melania Trump just donated to the Smithsonian National Museum of American History. First Lady Melania Trump donated her 2026 inaugural ball gown to the Smithsonian National Museum of American History today. She is the first lady to have two gowns in the collection. The dress she donated was designed by Hervé Pierre. The First Lady says the dress showcases America's spirit of creativity. In her remarks to the museum, she said she's honored to have her dress be part of the Smithsonian, which she called a cultural jewel. Yes, the Smithsonian is awesome, and our weather is
going to be changing.
All right.
It's going to start warm and muggy tomorrow, and then it gets really windy, so do be cautious with, we're going to have a fire danger problem over the weekend.
All right, thank you, Mac. Thanks for watching. See you at 10.